So before we went on the air.
Mhm.
She was trying to teach me how to do a Russian accent.
Oh,
I think it would be really funny if you tried to teach Rena how to do a Russian accent.
do you want, Rina?
I can.
Do you want me to teach you?
I
'Cause Serbian-
actually live in a building that is predominantly like Russian.
Nice.
Oh.
So and I can say a few things in Russian.
Wow.
I'm following you.
Yeah. So like my dog always plays with like the older Russian neighbors. So they're always like, "Хороший мальчик, хороший мальчик."
Good boy, good
Yes,
boy.
yes. The dog knows a little Russian too.
Wow, that was really good.
Хороший мальчик, yes.
Can you do an
Девушка.
accent though? Can you talk like English and do an accent, Rena? Because she helped me a lot.
Like certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like certain things.
You're
I
in the
can.
nuclear submarine or something.
When you learn how to pronounce R, you learn everything.
Ra.
R, yes.
Yeah.
I think Russian language is more easier to learn than French, for example. You know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of French.
I don't know except je m'appelle Ivana. My name is Ivana, and I think merci, and that's it. Merci, like thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It is very very difficult for me. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Now, Ivana, can you do an American accent?
Like what?
I don't know.
To say something. When I started to learn English in my school here in Serbia, it is interesting. My favorite word was newspapers.
I like that.
It is like a song, newspapers.
Newspaper.
You know? Yes.
You say
I don't know why.
People,
I don't know why. I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, first, second, third grade, maybe something like that. I'm not sure because it's different in Europe and in USA when we're counting grades in elementary school. But I was maybe 10 years old, 7 to 10, and when I heard newspapers, oh my God, how sound. I don't know how to explain.
No, I understand it. I'm sure there are words I
love English, and English is, if you ask me, it's a way of communication. It's not a language, you know. You have to learn languages, but if you want to type something on computer, if you want to type something on an iPhone, you have to know English. It is way of communication. That's my other theory. It is not language.
Yeah, it's a good point. English is pretty prominent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
You have luck because it's your first language.
Yeah.
You don't need it to learn.
I know. You're right. I have a lot of friends in Europe and they all also know English, but they're always like, Americans are lazy. They just won't take the time to learn another language. And the way I look at it is I think I don't have to.
Yes, whole world is talking with my language. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have time for that really, to be honest.
I understand a lot of Russian and Spanish. Spanish is also similar phonetically to Serbian. Spanish is very easy to learn. If you want to learn language, choose Spanish. Ask me. I don't know how to speak, but I can understand a lot of, because my daughter is learning Spanish, and it is very melodic. It is you have a rhythm when you're listening to something on Spanish. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. They told me that Spanish was easy too, but I was terrible at it.
Trust me.
2 years.
6 months.
I stayed back for Spanish in high school. I took the Spanish 1 twice, and then for Spanish 2, they're like, you're going to need to finish Spanish 1 to go to Spanish 2, and I said I don't want to take Spanish 2 because I'm just terrible.
I will give you one song to listen. Okay. It is Encanto cartoon. No se habla de Bruno.
No se hablo en bueno.
No. Don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about
Yeah,
Bruno.
yeah,
It's,
that's not-
Oh, I don't
it
know.
is some cartoon, Disney cartoon, I think,
Yeah,
or
it's
Pixar or something.
mhm.
That song,
Oh.
you have to listen that song on Spanish. It is, oh my God, I can't explain. It is driving you. You feel good when you're listening that.
Oh, all right.
So Jason, I think there's a huge difference between like the like in the US, like the high school language experience, I think is terrible. Like trying to learn Spanish in high school in the US is like it's just not
Really?
good. Like I think
Why?
like because I took it and it just or at least when I was young and like they don't really make an effort, I think, to like
Oh, okay.
connect you to
It is
like
up to professor. It is
yeah,
up to,
like
yes.
yeah, and maybe there are some great, but it just felt like very kitschy and silly, and I feel like they didn't really connect you to why
Mhm.
it's important to understand another language.
Hmm.
But then, like you know, years later, now I have a very good friend that lives in Mexico, and she has for a few years, and so I would go periodically to visit, and I found like it was just so much better to speak and to be interacting with people, and then that's when you really see the value in you know
Yes,
understanding
yes.
multiple languages, and it also is just easier to learn when you have somebody to speak back to you and when you have somebody that knows English and then also knows Spanish so they could correct my pronunciation. And
Hmm.
I found that I was much more engaged in that experience and interacting with people than I ever was when I took language
That
in
makes more
school.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I think that is very, very important who is teaching you. And it is the same everywhere in the world. Trust me, if you have a bad professor, you won't love that subject, you know? If you have good professor, you will learn biology. Maybe you don't love nothing about biology, but professor can make that important spot in your education,
Right.
just to connect you with something. I'm every day talking with my daughter, and where in the subjects where she has good professors, she is learning good, and she is going with smile, and she don't have unpleasant emotions, you know. But where person who is teaching her is not that dedicated, that is different, you know.
Mhm.
So I think professor is very important. Teacher.
Mm-hmm.